Hello and welcome to Supreme Commander Forge Alliance Forever. This is the second semi-final. No, quarter-final. Take it back. Start again. Second quarter-final of the Legend of the Stars. We got Blackheart here. White Seraphim versus Tagada. Blue Seraphim. The map, Forbidden Pass V4. Pretty classic 1v1 map. Very difficult map. A try-hard map, I would say. In the way that it plays. Early air, very important. Dropping, important. Many small battles to win and lose in the first few minutes. But first, some tree reclaim. That's what we need. Attack move here from the factory. All these trees gonna turn into energy and mass. Blackheart doing the same thing. Looking exactly the same. Both players chose Seraphim, and this lake is a pretty good indication of why they might want to do that. And Zooey's T1 hover can do a lot of damage. Only thing we want to plug, nothing in particular, I guess. There will be some tournaments coming up. Dog has made a post about it, so check the news for posts about tournaments. There's some interesting ones. There is there was the ladder league results. There was there's a tournament coming up which has a restriction on a unit cap. It's I think 125 max unit cap. So maybe we'll take a look at this game and see when do we hit 125 in unit cap. It's going to be pretty quick because, as you can see, well, between the two of them, they're at 46 right now. But we'll see when that happens. I think that's this Saturday, so it'll probably be the day after you're seeing this video uploaded. And yeah. So, looks like Tagada has his air factory. Whoa, hang on. Blackheart's super slow with his air factory. What's Tagada going to be able to do with this? He scouts and sees that the air factory is not even finished. What's his reaction? Ahem, what's your reaction? Excuse me, sir. Your reaction. No reaction. Sometimes it's hard to cast without roasting people. But Tagada should probably have done something there. I mean, he left his Inti on this side of the map, didn't send it across. He could be fighting 2 versus 1 Intis right now. He could have made a bomber. He could have instantly made a transport and maybe assisted it with the engineers. But I could guess something, but I might be wrong. I mean, I'm wrong quite often on this, but I feel like he's just following a very set build order. But now that I say that, he's sort of stalling mass. Let's see, look at all this reclaim he's getting though. This is a lot of reclaiming. I feel like he's just not diverting from his build order. Yeah, no bomber and no transport makes me disappointed. Bomber from Blackheart. Scout finally goes overhead to see what's going on in Tagada's base. He's going to see 2 air factories. Quite a nice looking base here. 2 air, 2 land. Blackheart very quickly went to the Hydro, which is a bit different to what Tagada did. Tagada only building the Hydro now, so obviously the Hydro is much more efficient than T1 Pigeons. So that's definitely going to be an advantage for Blackheart, and it's also why his Main base was slower in getting its first air factory up. Choice and consequences. But seeing as Tagada has done absolutely nothing with this opening build order, we will see what Blackheart can do with his bomber and with his extra land factories at the front. And the bomber gets annihilated instantly. Looks like by accident. Just pure chance that Tagada was moving in that direction. It's not pure chance that he has his air in this area, because he's likely going to be moving in that way with his transport. We'll see though. But not strange that his air is in this position, as you would probably expect a bomber, or you might want to drop that way. But a bit lucky to actually catch the bomber more or less by accident there. And now, with the air fight ensuing, Tagada takes the opportunity to immediately send his transport to the north. He knows it won't be caught at this point. Blackheart now scouting and spots the transport. His air, well, he's not going to try and contest it now. It's too late. The transport is already on its way. So Blackheart's goal now has to be gaining this expansion right here, because he knows this one is pretty much secured for now for Tagada. Now, in a few minutes, we may see the ACU arrive on the scene in this direction to contest this, but for now, it's about getting equal map control and taking the right side. So I guess there's a transport. Yes, here it is, finished. These guys gonna get on board, I guess, and head that way. Did Blackheart just lose all of his air, or did I miss something? No, he definitely lost all of his air just there now, and he has one inti. Now I want to see Tagada cover this position with his air force. Well, it looks like he's going to pick up some tanks and drop into this expansion, but there's a PD being prepared and almost finished. I would like to see Tagada cover this. He's now scouting and sees that it's still not taken, but he's not using his intis to defend the location that he should expect Blackheart to be dropping to. Blackheart does have some tanks here to prevent any tanks from killing his engineers, and now he is getting the drop away for free despite having almost no air, and Tagada having a huge air advantage. Tagada now is dropping into this expansion. He has not scouted the PD, however, and the question is, will he spot it before it drops? I feel like it really would be amazing if he did see it. Oh no. He's taking damage. Oh no. Can he get out of range of the PD and maybe at least kill two mexes on the outside? It looks like he can, potentially. One tank survives. That is quite disappointing for Tagada. If you look at this, everything was basically in position for Tagada to do really well there and get an advantage by denying the transport here and potentially dropping, well, those tanks. He could have been dropping it here as well, could have been covering this and dropping here, but yes, quite unfortunate. And the game looks quite even now, except for the fact that Blackheart has far more land units. This is a big deal now, and we can see why here. T2 mechs in the base, and T2 air is finished. Meanwhile, Blackheart with no T2 mexes and no T2 tech of any kind, land or air, and there's a lot of tanks heading here, and there's no PD at all to defend. If there was, however, there would be a single Zooey to take it out. Blackheart now moving to the left. He has, again, the Zooeys with him. What can stop the ACU is T1 PD. And so he has the Zooeys to help him out. He really, though there are no PDs. And so this is a free base here for Blackheart. And also 3 factories of mass here potentially. if Tagada finishes this, which he actually will not. So it's unlikely Blackheart will get any mass from that factory, but he does get the other two. He's going to get the whole base, and his map control now is quickly becoming superior. You can see he's pushed quite far on this end and has done some raiding on this side. Zui's and ACU deal with everything here, and Blackheart now has 49 mass income to 35. T2 gunships are out. I think those gunships could head straight for the ACU right now. That would be a pretty nice move in my opinion. There's no build power with him to help him build anti-air, so he should probably be building anti-air right now actually. Or perhaps building a... Yeah, he's gonna get the reclaim, build an AA turret, and then build another factory. Over here, oh, we already have an AA turret. And we have 2 PDs to defend against the ACU. Meanwhile, there are no Zuis whatsoever to help this ACU out. Nice drop here to the bottom expansion with some engineers off this transport to retake this a bit more quickly than by walking. And in the meantime, Blackheart has been making quite a lot of his own air out of a single air factory with some nice assistance, but it looks like it's not enough at all actually, and he is going to waste his air force. The AA turret has gone down, and the gunships will be able to kill everything. However, on the left side, things not looking so great. This is an army almost entirely composed of Zuis, so it's looks quite scary actually. And unless he micros his tanks very well, he's probably not going to be able to kill all of those with the army that he has. Still Blackheart with the superior map control, now 4,000 mass ahead, and he is ecoing now. We have 1 T2 mech, second one almost done, third one just begun. Meanwhile, Tagada has not made any more eco after the first T2 mechs because he simply can't afford it. He's already lost the map control, needs to regain that really before he can afford to make more mexes. T1 mexes more efficient than T2, that's for sure. Needs to be quickly retaking this and keep making use of the gunships. They sort of been idle on this base for a while. Time to get moving again and make sure you avoid some of these anti-air. He could snipe the 2 anti-air very quickly. Needs to make sure he's paying attention to do that. And if he does snipe them, then he can go to town on the army. There goes one. Second one is lurking, tickling an inti here. Blackheart moving forward is ACU on the left side. Potentially very dangerous move here, as the anti-air in these 2 armies numbers at 3 and they're tech 1. This ACU should be sniped. I'm not sure why he's moving forward really. He does not have air control. It looks like Tagada may have energy issues judging by the lack of T2 power, but actually he doesn't. I guess he just doesn't have that much mass, I guess, so power is not such a problem without mass. And he's now scouted the ACU, sees that there's really very little in the way of anti-air with this ACU, and Blackheart is not being careful. I don't know why he's being so aggressive. It's just absurdly dangerous. Here come 5 Seraphim gunships. Seraphim have the most expensive T2 gunships and the strongest and the healthiest. So these things aren't going to go down too quickly. Now we have the air fight coming in. There's several anti-airs coming in, but they're getting sniped immediately. You can see they're not lasting long enough to do much damage at all to the gunships, who are just tanking this fire. And Blackheart is running away from the units which have surrounded the Zuis and are now going to surround the ACU. I think he's going to die. A couple of the gunships very low on HP. They could be sniped. That'll still leave 3 at least. 1 goes down. And Blackheart can obviously deal with the units with his ACU, but the gunships will be the end of him, and this is the end for Blackheart. Actually, I should mention the quarterfinal games were played on the end of day 1. They were the final games played. So at this point, players have already played the entire group stage. And Blackheart has just been sniped by Tagada. Nice play by Tagada. Yeah, we saw some mistakes on both sides there. But you can see how tricky this game is. This map is, I should say. Drops, early air. It's a difficult map to play. There's plenty of room for air. Plenty of room for crushing too. Those things go hand in hand. And yeah, as I was saying, the quarterfinals were played on the end of day 1 this 2-day tournament. And so Tagada had played quite a few games by this point. Blackheart went through in first in his group, so he didn't play quite so many. But still, players are about to be slightly off their game at the end of the day, and maybe that contributed to some of the mistakes in this particular match. But that's 1-0 to Tagada in a game where he was falling behind, but the tech advantage T2 Air is just too good a weapon for Blackheart to deal with. I need to close this game so I can open the next one. There we go. Game 2 of this quarterfinal. This is a best of 3 game match. I think coming into the tournament, some people were talking up Tagada as a strong player. Nexus was saying Tagada was a very strong player. Blackheart was a bit harder to read as he hadn't played that much. Please game. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Blackheart had not played too much in the build-up to the tournament, but he had played a bit. And I guess people were not expecting him to be necessarily at the top level, at peak performance. But I did play a game on ladder before the tournament against him, and he seemed pretty strong. So I was thinking Blackheart in a money tournament, a big money tournament, is likely to do some prep, get himself ready. And I'm pretty sure, well, turned out that he definitely had done prep in anticipation of this tournament. And so we see him here in the quarterfinal. First out of his group, and I don't know if he even dropped a map in the group. Actually, he might have gone 2-0. No, he dropped a map against Torin, I think. But yes, took out Ajax as well in the group stage. Now we see him on Crossfire Canal. I don't know how these players match up on Crossfire Canal. I know Blackheart is obviously good on it. And again, we have Seraphim matchup. I think people should be noticing how much Seraphim shows up here in the tournament in general. Quite a popular faction. I think I mentioned in the last cast that they have so many strong units now in the land, air, and navy, so they're quite a good choice, even though they have obviously a more limited unit pool to choose from. So let's see what happens. We have normal stuff. Well, that's extra pigeon here, or two. For Tagada. Is he really gonna make all those before his... this is very strange now. I want to know what happens here, because that's a ton of power. He should already be building his air factory in a normal build. As we can see, Blackheart is almost finished now. About to make his transport. Can't really afford too much assistance on this thing. Only 4 pigeons. And the hydrocarbon. But I'm more interested in Tagada, because Tagada... oh god, he's really fucked up. He's simply fucked up. Well, it's a little disappointing. I mean, this might be possible with manual reclaim from all 3 of these NGs built into the build order. But even then, how are you? It's still going to be really difficult to spend that power. He just messed up his build there, which is really weird. But anyway, there you go. Tagada in a bad position now as Blackheart dropping the expansion. And will he head to his enemy's pizza slice? Well, it looks like he will, and we can see a scout moving ahead to see if there's anything there. And this may tie into a comment in a previous cast where I said I casted Bloodier playing versus someone. Who was it? I can't remember. Perhaps it was Zlo. Was it from this tournament? It may have been Zlo in the group stage, and I said that you should drop your opponent's side in this scenario. There's no reason not to, and Bloodier said in the comments that, well, it's a risky maneuver. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, then if your opponent is dropping this way, then it's very risky, obviously, and it can lose you the game. And my point, my response to him was, all you need is an air scout to go ahead of the transport, which is exactly what we saw here from Blackheart. And however, it doesn't look like this drop is working. We now have the 3 engineers running away as the 5 engineers of Tagada have landed and are obviously in a better position to win the reclaim wars. 5 versus 3. That's funny. That really reminded me of watching villagers in AoE 2 fight. But yeah, Tagada lands, and because he has just so much build power, he is able to deny Blackheart's landing, but yeah, Blackheart was just not fast enough. He couldn't get the factory done in time. So he leaves, and he actually has kept all 3 of his engineers that he dropped alive, and so now he can go and get reclaim. Could perhaps try and start a base, although it's very unlikely to work. But I think getting reclaim, yeah, it looks like he's running to the water with 2 of them. Maybe he will make a naval factory. He is grabbing reclaim with 1 engineer. The other 2 are just running away because there will be a tank out. Here it is. Blackheart gonna have to replace his transport. It's probably already completed. Yes, it is. Where is Tagada's transport? He also lost his transport. Well, that is interesting. There's a dead transport. I don't know. I think that's probably Tagada's one. And that's Blackheart's. So Tagada had to replace his transport, and he's not replacing it, actually. He's not building one right now, unless this one just died there. No, it didn't. So again, Blackheart looks like he's going to be in a better position. Tagada with the slight score lead, but Blackheart has more mass income, more power income, more total mass. And he has a better position on the map at the minute, having engineers on this pizza slice. He's also dropping to the tip of this one. Here comes the transport. Let's get rid of the labels, maybe. That's pretty cool. Nice beat drop. Bomber. It's just too late to deny the naval factory. And actually missed both the engineers as well. That's quite good. ACU arrives on the left side for Tagada. We're going to have a little proxy here, which will mainly just try and do some damage. It's not really going to try and take the pizza slice. It's not going to be possible to take this with just some factories and stuff because, of course, the ACU is here. On this side, you can see this pizza slice has taken quite a while to to take over because only one engineer was dropped here. And 3 were dropped forward. So, yeah, a lot of build power was wasted in this attempt to take the island. The pizza slice. It's not really an island, but yes, in the end we do have most of the mechs is captured, and reclaim will be on the way shortly. Some Zuis have been picked up, and some more Zuis have been picked up, and the scout went very close to that transport, but doesn't seem to have realized. Oh, the transport is being targeted. Will it land? It will. It's gonna land on the main base. A bomber just comes out of the air factory, though. Can it be timed correctly to kill the Zuis? No, he's trying to micro, and now he's given up on microing. He has built a PD, and the Zuis need to not run into that. It looks like they are getting quite close. The bomber is here. 2 tanks are out, so not much damage will be done in the end. But a big reaction forced by Blackheart, causing Tagada some real panic, so Tagada can't exactly look elsewhere. Oh my god, we have a factory on the main base. There goes the radar. That's a nice kill, but the factory has to be dealt with. We can see so much happening for Tagada to deal with. Zui's coming to the right side. Zui's coming to the left side. Some tanks coming out of this proxy, although one of them's idle, unfortunately. And even on the main base. So there's just so much for Tagada to deal with. Meanwhile, Blackheart can basically give rally points from his factory, start queuing units, and then worry about other things like reclaiming, getting T2R and a T2 Pigeon up, upgrading mexes, and he is upgrading a few mexes now. Meanwhile, Tagada on 1 T2 mex, a second one on the way. But Tagada is under so much pressure and has so many things to worry about right now that it's going to be difficult to deal with all the threats that Blackheart is putting forward. A couple naval factories from Blackheart as well versus only a single one from Tagada. And the navy of Tagada is not doing very much. It's not defending against the Zuis, which are crossing the water, crucially. That's what should be their main task. And, oh, look at how nasty this is. There's no radar here, and mexes are dying from the fog of war. That's a nice air scout here, giving vision, but there's nothing ultimately being done to kill these 3 Zuis over here. And we can see that Blackheart's side is pristine. Nothing touching him whatsoever. Tagada with a huge indie force. Characteristic of, how should we say, layers of his generation. And those inties are not doing much. We need more T1 bombers. I imagine he could have multiple factories just making T1 bombers, and that would be very useful for him instead of inties. Blackheart now with T2 airs making inties and gunships. And those gunships will be sent just to add another thorn in the side of Tagada. We may see one gunship on this side, one gunship on this side. Tagada will again have to use up valuable APM to deal with these threats and remove annoying units from his economy. Factory is about to go down finally on the main base, and we can see many tanks are being built on the main base, which is the opposite of what you want. Look at this, we have 4 land factories on the main island, 5, and several of them making tanks. This proxy has not been dealt with, and now we have maybe 20 units here on this island. And a gunship to add insult to injury. Blackheart, is he really on 100 income right now? Well, he's very close to it. Very close to 100 income already. Tagada sitting on... Oh, well, he's power stalling big time as he's only building his T2 Legion now. And that hurts. Yeah, quite late to make your P-Gen, but again, as we said, so many things to be dealing with. And this is the kind of map that... Well, this is the kind of game that you can get on a map like this. It's already APM intensive to simply take your map control and get the reclaim. But dealing with all of these horrible phobos and gunships and proxies on every island, well, then it becomes completely unmanageable, or nearly completely unmanageable. Blackheart even has mass storages now. I wonder if he would just make a T3 max. He has nearly 2,000 mass in the bank. That's not enough for a T3 max, obviously, but it's a start. But no, I guess he probably won't. That would be a bit much. Instead, he is making a huge number of T2 mexes. All 3 of these going T2. And he's not even making any tech, it seems. Oh, there, finally we have T2 land. And the first thing out will be Flak to defend his precious mexes should he ever lose air. And he doesn't have much air. 35 indies is not bad, but... Well, he does still have air control. Flak is just prophylactic. Tagada in such a bad position now. About half the mass income. And he is not dealing with any of this at this point. Nas, says Tagada. Nice cancer level. Yep. Tagada got quite brutally crushed here. Nice game from Blackheart. I don't know what happened with the build. That obviously set Tagada back, but I don't think you can put the whole game on the build necessarily. I think Blackheart simply had good ideas, as in the drop to here and here were very nice. And then the other things, well, they're just normal phobo spam. Across the water is completely normal, but Tagada was... I don't know, I guess he just hasn't been exposed to these levels of radioactive material. And yes, he doesn't deal with them in any way, shape or form, really. So, there we go, 1-1. 1-1 between these two, and we go to a decider. And what will the map be? Let's open it up. The final game. Another series going to a decider. Which is quite interesting. Often in tournaments I see 2 zeros. 2 zeros almost across the board. But I guess when you're in a tournament like this, which has had 4 qualifiers to it, and now you're past the group stage, the levels are going to be, they ought to be relatively similar, I think. And that's what we're seeing here. The final game is Theta. Which I wasn't expecting, honestly, but I don't know what I was expecting. And both players have gone A on. Well, we've seen what happens here, I think, haven't we? We saw Nexus versus Patrick on this map. We're going to see this map again. Obviously a popular map. Blackheart is known to like a 5x5, that's for sure. One of the upsides about maps like Theta is that the build is well, there's less difference between builds, I would say, because there's not just the fact that it's been played so many times that everyone should know at this point how to build on this map. It's the lack of reclaim means that there can't be huge differences. Now, if you play maps with lots of reclaim, the percentage difference between the builds can be massive. If one player is just superior at using the reclaim, they just have the right amount of power and build power and reclaiming, the difference can be huge. But on this, it's on a map like Theta with limited reclaim, limited resources, you should be able to get an even start, and it's going to come down to units, unit usage, unit placement, ACU, micro, and your just strategic and tactical choices. Are you going to make a bomber? Are you going to make air at all? Are you going to make a lab? Well, Blackheart is. His lab gets taken down. He also does not see the base of his opponent, but he did see a relatively quick tank. Tagada not being too greedy here. You can see his engineers quite slow to move out, and he doesn't lose any as a result. Defends himself, and now he has 3 tanks out. Blackheart only has a single tank, however. He is moving more quickly with his engineers. You can see him getting some manual reclaim and expanding at the same time. This engineer is completely undefended, and Blackheart has gone for second air and is making a bomber. Tagada needs his tanks moving across the map as fast as they can. That's not too fast because they're Aurora, but he has to do it. He's lacking some mass, still has some reclaim in his base, which is quite strange to leave that there. But now getting a bit of reclaim with this engineer should save him, and the ACU is nearly at mid. The stall isn't too severe, but I would still probably pause some NGs. Blackheart now reveals his air production and with the scout, and here comes the bomber. There's no dodge, is there? Oh, there is. And it is unsuccessful. Well, one engineer is saved. The P-gen that's almost completed takes a knock, and he's trying to finish the P-gen. That's quite nice, actually. There goes a engineer that was getting some reclaim, and maybe also some reclaim was killed. The bomber takes out the NG. Now takes out a scout and an Aurora. Give me 4 kills, and it also escaped from the anti-air. We have 4 anti-air now for Tagada. That's 4 Aurora, more or less. That's what they could be. Nice raid here on the side, taking advantage of Blackheart's lack of air, or lack of land, I should say, given his air production. And kills a mech, needs to kill another one. The bombers are coming though. Here comes one. Tagada taking the reclaim in the middle. Needs to keep working on that. Meanwhile, Blackheart taking the reclaim under the arch. That bomber just killed all of these Aurora in a single pass, but didn't quite save the mech. 7 kills on that bomber. The other bomber has disappeared, or rather it's probably been killed by these guys. I don't see it though. Oh, there it is. And now Tagada is going to get raided on the bottom of his map, and Blackheart using his ACU very aggressively and is moving across. Gets a kill or two. Now that's risky, given that Aurora can... Oh my god, Tagada is in such a compromised position. I mean, if we look here, his units have to get past the ACU to even support him. These units should probably be moving across to help him out. He has no vision here, and Blackheart has 14 Aurora, which is not scary enough to kill an ACU, that's for sure, but still quite worrying. Both players just avoiding the other's ACU with their tanks at this point because they simply don't have enough to challenge him. Now you could try take some pot shots and move out of range because you have Aurora, you have more range than the ACU, but it looks like neither of them want to try and do that. They want to just... Well, I mean, Blackheart's cleaning up the top side and expanding there, which is quite a good move. And on the bottom, well, Tagada now looks to be reconvening with his forces, and maybe he will clean up this top side again. Couldn't protect it initially, so... Well, he's running out of Aurora quickly. He's losing these fights. This Aurora has 5 kills now, and a veterancy. The ACU should completely secure this. There goes another bomber, but get some kills on the way. And we actually have 3 inties for Tagada. Now looking at the map, Tagada is missing several mechs. Blackheart has no such problems, except for this one that has just gone down. Blackheart also not building any more air at this point. Tagada has paused his air. He has 3 inties, and they're not very useful, and they're going to be less useful once they park right next to the Aurora. There goes one of them. 1/3 of an Air Force killed in a single volley. And now Blackheart gets a PD up, and he can safely start reclaiming. Maybe he'll build a radar, maybe not. Radar in this area is quite good, gives you excellent coverage. Blackheart playing with fire a little bit, but really he should be completely fine. Has quite a lot of his Aurora now in support of his ACU, and this advanced position is such a pain in the hole. It's so annoying because, well, you basically can't move out. This area now is going to be pretty secure for Blackheart because you can't move your tanks in this way because, well, the ACU is actually threatening your base at that point if you start leaving. Reinforcements constantly have to be microed away from the ACU into different positions, and now he's actually engineered a move where he brings his ACU across. All the units are screened to the left, and then he sends his forces down to the south, kills the expansion, leaves with his ACU, and all of Tagada's army is in useless positions. And Tagada must be wondering, what the fuck just happened? He lost every mech outside of his base there, except this one, and there is barely any fighting between tanks. So Blackheart should have just won the game with that maneuver. He now has twice the mass income until these are recaptured, which is going to take a little while. That's an interesting PD from Blackheart. But Tagada, I don't know what his plan can be now, except well, yeah, it's hard to say. He has a nice army at this point, I would say. Let's see what Blackheart has. 43, 46, because well, oh my god, 6 units just went down. Fucking hell. But yeah, look at this. Surely he can't afford that factory. He can't. He needs to reclaim it. He's reclaiming it with 1 and building it with 2. Do the math. It's not gonna end well. It's not ending well. I'm quite glad that PD didn't finish, because I don't think it would actually be able to hit anything. It's in such a strange position. But this looks so bad for Tagada now. Blackheart pushing on the bottom. He's going to raid this. He's going to deny the rebuild here. He's going to deny the rebuild here. His ACU is just going to stay at arm's length, or even a little further. And being so close to his base now, we'll have no problems protecting him with the reinforcements. This raid is money again. Blackheart in a super good position now. All because of this ACU move and the subsequent unit use as well. Along with it, the bomber was obviously a nice start, but didn't give him that much of an advantage, I would say. I mean, it was a decent, certainly a decent opening. The bombers did well, but Tagada was still in the game. He had, you know, it was quite even mass, quite even on units. But this ACU usage was so good to kill so much of Tagada's mass income. Now Tagada is getting some reclaim from all of the stuff that's happened on his side of the map, but it is slow coming, and the generated mass has been lacking big time, so he's still behind in total mass despite having significantly more reclaim. He also has quite a bit more reclaim available to him at the bottom. There's so many wrecks here. Oh, bomber comes in, gets 4 kills again, and goes down. There's so many inties from Tagada. Stop making inties. He has so many inties. 7 inties, 350 mass, shit ton of power. I think that's quite a mistake. You can see what Blackheart is doing with his air is completely different. He's making no inties at all. I don't think he's made a single one in the game. All he's done is make bombers and maybe the odd air scout. And every time he uses a bomber, he gets multiple kills. And they're quite effective. How many kills do the inties have? Yeah, that's what I thought. Fact is that people need to learn you don't need to have inties to use air. It's just a fact. All you need to do is do enough damage before your attacking unit dies, and you don't need inties to achieve that in every scenario. Not that you never need inties, of course. Let's not go the other way. That'd be crazy, but in a lot of scenarios you do not need to really defend your air units for them to be efficient or useful even. Blackheart's sitting on so much more HP. Tagada is just a hair's breadth from his first veterancy, but Blackheart now actually may get his first one before Tagada. Although now he retreats. Tagada retreats his forces. The best Tagada can hope for really is a draw. A win seems completely out of the question. Blackheart is retreating, doesn't want to get into a square off with the ACU, it seems. Although Tagada now is getting quite far from his units. Bladir's going to move in, trade some HP, and feel good about himself before leaving. Once Tagada gets close to his army again. Now he's out of range. Now he's losing some units. There's so much reclaim building up here. But if we look again, Blackheart's gonna raid, and Tagada is just being boxed into this location. Aurora is completely surrounding him, and he has an army of 82 Aurora versus 55. Which means he can send 30 Aurora around elsewhere, still have an equal army to all of Tagada's units next to his ACU, which is basically what he's been doing. Tagada now dropping very low on HP, as Blackheart still has 8k HP. 9k as he gets his first veterancy, finally. This army in the bottom has actually been completely crushed, leaving a huge amount of reclaim. But it's very doubtful that Tagada will ever find the means to actually make use of that. He does have a lot of factories, and that is quite good. He has engineers in certain areas able to get reclaim, but I don't think this amount of production is going to be enough to overcome what Blackheart has, which is twice as many units and 4 times, 5 times as much HP on the ACU. Now they're trading blows, and that's a bad idea for Tagada, as he drops to 1600 HP. Still the Auroras dodge back and forth, trading. And some of them now target fire Tagada to finish the map, finish the series. GG, well played from Tagada. And Blackheart wins this quarterfinal 2-1 against Tagada, who took 1 game off him. So Blackheart moves through, Tagada's out. And yes, Blackheart will play in the semi-final the winner of Nexus and Blodir, which will be the next cast from this tournament. So stay tuned for that. Hope you enjoyed this series. We had some interesting things happening, and all Seraphim. We had 2 Seraphim games and an Aeon game. Who says nobody plays Aeon? Well, in this tournament, everyone played Aeon on Theta, I guess. Yes, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. And tune in soon for another cast. See you next time, guys.